here. Like we have people who already joined. Hello, everyone. Welcome to one more session. I hope your energy levels are still up. As you may know, the whole team has been here since the first session, like which was like at 2 a.m. for me. So yeah, and we're really enjoying this. So for the next session, we're gonna have Jane Vita as speaker. So Jane is a design lead at VTT in Finland with over 20 years experience under her belt. Jane is used expertise in many design competencies to work in more than 50 projects in a range of different industry and countries. But Jane will talk a bit more about her now. So I'm handing over the mic to you, Jane.
Hello. Hi. I'll just start sharing my screen, so make sure this is gonna work. Give me a second here. There you go.
Okay.
So you can see, hopefully you can see my screen. Hello. It's so great
Yes, it's
to,
working.
it's working? Great. That's awesome. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, first of all. I hope you're well and safe. Yeah, so if you don't know me, well, thanks first, like for the introduction. Maybe I should tell a little bit more about myself, so you understand a little bit of my journey and why we are talking about design as source of transformation. So my background is in visual communication. I completed 2 masters in web design back in 2003, and other in 2014 in web design and innovation, service innovation and design. During all these years, as many designers working in agencies, I had the opportunity to work in several projects, some more strategic, other more tactical, from like different industries and organization sides, in different countries even, and in a variety of digital maturity levels. Some of them, of course, more customer-centric, some like more planet-centric, right? And others not so yet there. Along this journey, I also have been lecturing university like Laurea, Aalto, here in Finland, and Pontifício University of Catholic University of Paraná in Brazil. Also, I'm aiming to complete my PhD in the next couple of years, hopefully. I'm acting a member of IXDA, Interaction Design Association, and I'm sure you're gonna be delighted to watch some of my colleagues here if you haven't yet. I'm also I'm a Brazilian. I live in Finland, and I actually have 3 kids. I love to say that because it's an important thing in my life. But coming, like working in agencies for so many years, I actually recently had this need for change, so I joined VTT after realizing that. I had enough of this amount of projects, but at the same time, I'm not making my life even easier. That's why I also want to talk a little bit more about VTT for you. So VTT has more than 75 years of experience in resolving societal challenges for science and technology. They were founded in 1942 to do scientific research work to boost manufacturing during the wartime. During the oil crisis in 1970s, they discovered new ways of generating energy. And from the 80s onwards, VTT has been catalyzing the internationalization of the Finnish industry. VTT was even involved in creating the world's first mobile phone, which propelled Finnish mobile industry to the world's top. In the 2000s, VTT started shifting focus to cover Finland and the world as a whole. VTT has always been in a key position of developing and transferring new technology in Finland and works in close collaboration with technical universities and other domestic international partners. Nowadays, VTT is a multidisciplinary organization with more than 2,100 employees, whose research and development works cover all various technology fields and has digitalization and sustainability as the 2 guiding trends for VTTers. Yes, we live in the crucial times every day. Even as we speak, VTTers are researching fascinating things. Many people in their everyday lives dream about this like simple solution, right? That would appear and resolve all their challenges. But scientists, they know that takes innovative solutions to overcome challenges. Science and technology are advancing more rapidly than ever. Currently, 2.3 million scientific articles are published and more than 4,000 patents are registered every year. Our ability to adopt new technologies and also speeding up, it's speeding up also. It took more than 5 decades for washing machines and cars to become common, but only a couple of decades for internet to catch on. And when smartphones came out, only a few years later, we all have them. So in a world that needs to invest in more in science, I'm glad to be designer in an organization like VTT. But what like designers do at VTT? So we help to secure and maximize VTT research's impact by making sure we find, understand, and address problems that are worth solving. Our purpose is to bring together people, business, science, and technology to solve the world's biggest challenges, creating sustainable growth, jobs, and well-being. We create systemic and technological breakthroughs that bring fundamental transformation and renewal to industries and societies. Well, but I'm not here to talk about myself or VTT, right? And I want to talk about us and how design can transform actually whatever we decide for better. As you see in this slide, design has evolved, and we have been creative in labeling ourselves. We are culture navigators that make future more manageable. But in practice, we are missing a bit of this manageable part, right? The true digitalization, the truth is, right, that digitalization causes exponential increase in stuff that needs to be designed. We design everything from physical, tactical objects to information, experience, and even ideas. We are fascinating, exponentially more complex problems, solution, and hypotheses. And design has been powering iterating business innovation. Some years ago, when doing my master's, Dr. Anna Serros, the ex-chief design officer of the Helsinki city, in one of her lectures, brought up this great comparison about the consumer power shift. She compared these changes with the evolution of maps. She said, who has the map has the power. As you see in this slide, the earliest map we know comes from the 6th century BCE, carved into stone by the Babylonians. Throughout the passage of time, human need and purpose for maps has evolved. Nowadays, we all have maps in our phone. We check our maps when we're lost and even when we are waiting for our food. Well, we have been even playing Pokemon Go on maps, right? I'm actually curious if Dr. Anna had seen this coming. Maybe I should ask her. But certainly, if this is a shift of power, it means that we have the power in our hands, or at least we had the map. But what really happens in terms of customer shift? Let's have the year of 2000 as a mark. During that time, there was an increased adoption of design thinking and service design methodology as a way of companies remaining competitive in future market. The idea was that this practice of developing systems, products, and service through collaboration with customers, managers, employers, and other company stakeholders could support companies to succeed in the long run. There was an evident concern on shift in the industry from product dominant to service dominant and the role of consumers. Then we move from making people want things to make things people want, well, need. Consumers became more informed. They had access to what's happening in the world. They were able to join and build networks or even communities of interest. They were trying more and selective, and they could try more, right? They could select the best from what they experienced. Though the exhaustive use of design thinking led some people to express things like Alex and Rosenwald, author of the Business Model Generation book and method. He said, people coming out of the design world, they think they can solve anything because they have design thinking. Why the heck they're not solving the world? Well, that's right. This was because we were not yet aware that we could solve the world, save the world, right? And we were too concentrated on people needs, perhaps. As things evolve and 20 years already gone, it's an excellent time for us to understand and reflect that only making things people want is not enough. And we have a great example out there that shows us that something is missing. I have this 2019 here as a mark for this recent shift. The reason is that before 2019, I didn't have this specific slide on my talks, right? But then I realized that I needed to do one to say that thinking only about needs wasn't enough. So I'll keep it this mark for now. As well, maybe a lot of people, they had this in their heart, but the mass concern I have noticed was during that time. As designers, we need to understand the impact of what we are creating in people's lives and in the planet. Our more democratic society has become a victim of what we create. As designers, as influencers, and as facilitators, we need to measure and understand better the impact what we produce. Before we launch a product or service, let's reflect and predict its impact. And not only that, but what motivates people to engage with what is right and good for them and the environment we live in. As Antti Pitikainen, co-founder and agile work of NCO's Design, said, innovation is about create a future that does not exist in the present. It's about taking what is now intangible and rendering it tangible. Taking the unseen and making it seen. Innovation is not here. It's not there. It's there. It's in the future. So this is really a journey to the future where it builds steps towards a greater goal. We create alternative futures and build an actionable roadmap towards the most desirable one. And incremental sprints work well when we have cleared out what possibilities the future can offer us. However, things are not easy as it looks like in this graph, right? We need to involve many people along this journey, and we need to make it fun. And people might not be in the right mood or even in the right mindset yet. In order for us to collaborate, and for this to happen, of course, we need to initiate and nurture a series of initiatives and connect silos, align thinking, and set common goals. We must engage with everyone that can contribute to a holistic understanding of this ecosystem, which our business, products, and service live. Understanding the multiple perspectives of a business and its impact, and yet help delivers value to the customers. You might have heard about the blind man and the elephant parable. And actually, early in this program, I listened the same parable from one of the speakers, Mauro Litsu. So it must be a good one. I hope you don't mind listening once more. A king called all these blind men to his palace and asked each of the men to describe an elephant. One felt a head and described it as a pot. The other felt the tail and described it as a rope. More men came, and one explained the elephant as a pipe, the other as a pillar, and so on. They could not describe the elephant, and instead they started arguing who was right, saying the others was wrong. None of them was able to separate their experience from the reality. The reality was an ordinary picture built by each of these men together. These men believed they were right. Our beliefs are construction of the reality we believe we live. We create them based on our experiences. To co-create, collaborate, we need to change mindset and to be open to others' beliefs. When it comes to decisions, we justify it based on what we know. However, this knowledge is usually very personal. How can we make our beliefs not blind us? And as in this elephant parable. In the book Liminal Thinking, Dave Gray says that we have to create the change we want by change the way we think, and give us a series of tools to enable growth mindset instead of keeping a fixed one. They've built a pyramid of layers from reality, experience, attention, through something that is obvious. But the obvious, he also called the bubble of belief. To open our mind to what is new and collect the other pieces of a puzzle, our big puzzle, we need to be able to deconstruct our beliefs and help others to do the same. Well, let's start encouraging dialogue. Dialogue is more than listening. It entails empathic understanding. It recognizes emotions, social and culture, and spatial context. Dialogue leads to loyalty and builds trust. To build effective dialogue, we need to provide a safe space and proper ways to make people interactions productive and enjoyable. We need to get comfortable to discuss, debate, and even philosophically speaking, articulate to convey our messages. Let's make sure we provide a safe environment so people can explore and expose knowledge. It might take time as we have busy lives. Let's open channels so we still can communicate. It can be Teams or Slack, or it can be a workshop through surveys or in the corridor, formal or informal. You have agenda, and the important here is that we start a dialogue. Giving people options for that to happen. As a reminder, uncertainty reveals defensive reactions that emerge when paradigms and uncertainty, which understandably are in high doses right now, we are confronted with our go-to coping, avoiding mechanisms. We debate and we feel safer. Relevance. In general, helps to implement these dialogues. We have to respect people's time and circumstance they are in. It's great call to know exactly why we want to involve people, and in the process, understand how they can contribute to it. Being transparent and clear helps to build trust. And this formula works for both stakeholders and customers. Service design practice might be your way to connect people and systematically approach your next designs. Service design is a discipline that has the co-creation at its core. We use service design methods and tools to facilitate better collaboration and integrative thinking, enhance customer values, move forward with the best business models, bring context, and put managerial and operational teams together to deliver successful experience to their customers along their journeys with the company brand, products, and services. Service design proves its value also when it's time for implementation. As a customer-centric approach, it helps to bridge business strategy, employees, and customer knowledge on how to best move forward with the designing and improving the products and service experience. Service design is human-centered, collaborative, interactive, sequential. It's real and holistic. Organizations that engage in service culture put the individual in the heart of matter, is action-oriented, and promotes creative thinking to problem solving. Accept failure, but empowers the fast recovery. It evolves in a knowledge environment to discover and mobilize expertise regardless of the job description. It enables global knowledge, and this knowledge relies on communities of practice and not in organization or administrative silos. At VTT, we future-proof value. by looking at the grand challenges and desired futures, bringing research excellence to holistic value creation. If we don't know yet, it's hard to consider. That's why we approach it systematically. We access and create contact zones with what we don't know and disseminate knowledge for shared decisions with innovation or product process. We need to use tools that give us clues from these multiple perspectives. We build a hypothesis and we validate them, as well as we uncover the many things we haven't yet encountered. In order to address any important problem, we need to diverse skills in the team, not just business designers and service designers, but also industry experts, technologists, among others. If your group consists only of designers, this should be a red flag. When building the team, focus on roles. When running the project, focus on productivity. Don't be territorial or with role descriptions. Be inclusive, diverse. Whatever challenge you are trying to solve, there might be a community that is already out there engaging on it. Go after them. Multitasking is a poison to achievement. 9% of the reason why design sprints have become so popular and that people can focus on one thing at a time. So limit your work in progress and always work in sprint mode, whenever you can. The secret is co-create towards tangible clarity and tactical and actionable outcomes. You know your extended team and know who are your key stakeholders. Well, here's just a few of the most common frameworks we use, and they serve as a central point for discussion. Personas are representative customer profiles. They contain primary information that helps people to address the challenge from a customer perspective. They serve as a basis for articulating our hypothesis for who our customers are. Journey maps describes the user of customer experience, which contains the interaction with the product and service. They're basis for unpacking our hypothesis about the value proposition. Service blueprints maps the user journeys onto the backstage need to be created. Basis understanding what it to take to build our service and how much to cost as well. And then we have the service roadmaps that derive in the gap analysis and the service blueprint versus like as it is state, where the first step is the MVP. Roadmap is a sequence of base MVP of MVP thinking. From early vision to execution, from incremental to strategic, as well as known as a future, we want to make sure we build the steps to get there. We need to design to inform, motivate, encourage, empower, and the many experiences that will create to create a positive impact. We need to change our KPIs and adjust our metrics to cope with the urgency and think in the long term. So we finally can be more sustainable. Identify your key unknowns early and plan activities that will enable you to develop specific hypotheses regarding them. If you know your hypothesis, the key thing is to design actions to validate them. Anything that doesn't help you to reduce uncertainty around your most important hypothesis is waste of time. While some stakeholders might push you to do extras that are not yet needed, right? So for instance, detailed technology architecture before you have worked your business model. Well, but your good heuristic point here is the problem solving. So a hypothesis, which is generally like in the customer side. Our goal is to create balanced ecosystem, and we start with what we currently have available and what we need to build next. Remember, it's not just about individuals who can understand and regulate themselves, but also about think together, not alone. Design swing a perfect balance between facilitating and influencing. We know the right moment to challenge the thinking. We know the right moment to promote reflection. We ask the right questions. We set barriers high, and we create the contact zones needed to avoid the blind spot. We are humble, informed, resilient, and confident. We improve, we innovate, we experiment, and we pivot. We speculate and create possible futures. We access and discuss what can go wrong, and we minimize risks. We provoke, we tell stories, we generate dialogue and capture conversations. And yet, we are designers. From process to organization culture, design will be always will play an important role. We can build excellence by acting strategically in all these multiple areas. We can be these advocates of good, bringing diversity to conversations, promoting inclusion, and generating actions towards the global issues. We have excuse to that in order to build. We need to take this holistic view as we want to access information that will make the matter successful. Many of us are really feeling waves, intense reaction to current state of the world, anxiety, grief, fear, sadness, frustration, anger, even loneliness. COVID-19, however, is giving us the opportunity to take a look in ourselves and wonder if the world is if a better world is possible. If we are prepared to do this, mindfulness meditation that take on it can take a very different role since its purpose built to help us to face uncomfortable truths. If we ask people whether they are worried about the future, we will, of course, get responses that reflect their worries and fears. But we must not go along with this. As soon as we became actors and drivers of change, we start to see opportunities. So it's a question of perspective, whether we paralyzed by the challenges or whether we see these opportunities for change and sustainable growth. Let's innovate in the future we want to create. Making money and growth is important for business, but it's not only thing. We need to create systems that are balanced, that are more efficient together. We all have good intention, but that's not enough, and our intentions should limit ourselves. As Elif Shafak said, the need of think about uncertainty and unpredictability, we need to think this more carefully than we have done so far. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed this talk. It has been a pleasure to talk for such a lovely audience. And I'm ready for the questions. Do you have any?
Yes, we do have.
Lovely.
We do have questions. So we're gonna have to do this really quick because we really run out of time. So the first, actually, you're only gonna be able to take one question. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I can answer the questions later as well.
Yeah. You can directly email, send a message to Jane on the app, or even on the desktop. So Wellington Samir asked, how can we designers use our tools to help create a more diverse culture in our company outside our regular project scope activities?
Yeah. Well, I think I have a great experience on being not the person that is facilitating the conversation. So sometimes like the project manager, so we have a workshop or we have some like engagement, and then what happened is someone sends the invitation, then you became this kind of second person in conversation. So first of all, I think we need to take over the conversation, like being the facilitator, like from the aligning these conversations, inviting people, being this being this person. When we select methods, of course, the methods, they need to extract information that are relevant for the project or relevant for your goals, right? The message that you want to convey. So selecting the right methodology, and then there's a plenty, right? If you type like service design methods into design methods, and you're gonna find many canvas, right, online, ones that you can even use in Miro and so on. So understanding this methodology, right? Understanding these tools, why they serve for, and aligning it with your goals and picking the best one that will help you to extract the information is very important for the work. Yeah, I think that does it answer the question. Yeah. So, and of course, right, inviting the right, like the people that is that will bring the knowledge needed to move forward.
Okay, we see. We do have more questions, but as I said, like from Tony and some anonymous attendee. So you, oh wait, no, it's Tony and Shindalo. So you're gonna have to send a message directly to Jane. We're gonna have to run now to the next session. So
Right.
thanks, Jane, for your time, and we really appreciate. I hope you stay around to be able to help our attendees.
All right, I'll be here. Hey, take care. Thank you so much. Enjoy the conference.
Bye.
Bye.